If you've been coming to this conference for the past couple of years, there really wasn't anything new that you read in the benchmarking. It's things we've been talking about. The importance of the benchmarking, at least in Sony's case, is now you have to resource it. So I need to go back to my office and say, we want to do this, and we're going to need money, we're going to need people, different types of resources. The benchmarking study enables us to go back and say, look, here's what others are doing, here's why this is important, here's where we're going to be left behind.
Technology is changing really quickly. Consumers are contacting us through different channels, and if we just take a minute and think about how we can invest in those channels, and if we're creative and you think about how you can integrate them in new and interesting ways and find different paths for your consumers to talk to you, then it's only your imagination that holds you back. And so if you're ready to do that, then you can reinvent customer care.
I think for us, if I look at it, I'm a leader, it's very important to look at the benchmarking, and it helps me to build a case for further investment in different channels. So when I take a look at our competitors, I take a look at other industries, you can see how people are investing in these different channels. So for me, it's very important to build a case in terms of spending more money, whether it's in social or chat. And the benchmarking really helps to validate that investment.
Overall customer experience is really important to the standard. We've spent a lot of time over the last few years upgrading a lot of our technology in our call centers and our contact centers to make sure that we're ready for the changing customer demand. You know, the rate of change within all of our industries is very fast, and it's accelerating every year, as we can see through the survey results. Every time that we survey, or anyone else surveys, whether it's consumers or whether it's other companies, what you find is the changing demands of the consumer as they become more powerful with what they expect from electronics, with their phones and with their mobile apps, but also in terms of their expectations, regardless of the industry, and they bring those expectations from one industry to another.
The 2013 benchmarking study was really valuable for me and will continue to be throughout the year. The two big things that stood out, one was that more than half of the companies doing social media spend less than a week doing social training, which shocks me. When I have folks on the floor, we do over 5 weeks of training with our advisors, and that's just before they actually engage with any customer. The other thing that surprised me is that there are only a third of the companies in the survey that are actually proactively engaging with customers. So they're truly treating it as a reactive model versus a proactive model. Now, I would say that if you get proactive in spaces such as forums or feedback websites, eventually it will turn into a reactive model because you build a presence, which is no different than a traditional contact center environment. But the fact that you don't get out there is going to limit you from that in the future.
You know, I would say one of the things that surprised me the most was how many people felt that phone was still the predominant channel for our customers. I know at Starbucks I've seen it change over time to where email is quickly catching up, if not equal, to phone volume when we look at it. And we know that we're becoming a society that doesn't like to talk to each other. And we also are dealing with a generation where I use the term, I want it now, and I want it my way. And so it doesn't surprise me for us that email is growing, but it does surprise me that in the benchmark, people still think that phone is the predominant channel.